The prosperity blueprint. The prosperity blueprint. The prosperity blueprint. The prosperity blueprint.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Prosperity Blueprint. I'm Dr. Rasheda Jackson, your business midwife. Last week was exhilarating as we shifted or pivoted the outline of the podcast for the next few weeks. We talked about vision, we talked about clarity, and today we're going to talk about building your foundation. I want to tell you what I've learned over the last 30 plus years in corporate America, 18 plus years being an entrepreneur. And this is the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make before they even make a dollar. So I want to talk to you about why choosing the right business structure can cost you thousands and why not choosing the right business structure can cost you thousands. All of it has to do with being in the course of the plan. The thing about it is you have to know the game if you're going to win at it. And business structure is part of the game. It's actually the foundation that you need to build everything on. You have to have foresight to know where you're going. And many times you may start with a structure that you don't stay with because remember, we're building something. So brick by brick, things change in the process and they can be transitioned easily. It's not a pivot. It's not a quit. It's just a shift and it happens. So today we're building our foundation because I don't care how many people tell you anything or how many gurus you've been listening to. I don't care how amazing your business idea is. If it is built on the wrong foundation, eventually it will crack. Today we want to talk about just debunk some of the myths that are involved or surrounding entrepreneurship. And, one of the biggest ones is that everybody needs an LLC. Everybody needs an LLC. Everybody needs a business structure and they need a plan. And people just throw it around loosely. And you have this group over here says you don't need an LLC or LLC is not a great business structure. You got this group over here that says you do need an LLC when both things can be right and exist at the same time, but without any clarity of information. Without sitting you down and helping to understand what it is you're going to do and why or why not you would choose either business structure or entity. People lose a lot of money just making random decisions based on what somebody else has told you. And I can tell you that I can't tell you how many people have come and sat down in my office and said, oh, I already have my LLC. So my thing is, that's not the finish line. We sometimes think that that's it. That's the finish line. So then I asked them the question, why did you choose an LLC? Oh, because I heard such and such on TikTok or on YouTube tell me that was the thing I needed to do, or a friend told them. And but nobody really explains why. And that's what having a business consultant is for. And that's why you would get into the 10 steps to building a business that works. We literally are going to share with you which path is best for you based on the type of business you're going to run and where you're looking to scale and grow to. And those are important conversations to have so that you understand why you do things. A lot of people find themselves following business trends. Business structures are not fashion trends. They're not things like bell-bottom jeans that are going to be here today, are going to leave tomorrow, going to come back the next day. They are legal strategies. And people that get into business understand that. Many times, entrepreneurs are visionaries. They want to build a plane while it's already off the ground. And for many people, that works if they have the right structure and the right people on that plane that are going to continue to put parts that are going to keep it in the air. But still, you've got to have an understanding of why you do certain things and where you're going. What is this scaling and growth going to look like? It's all based on the legal strategy that you start with. Choosing an entity should be based on these things: protection, taxes, because taxes will eat your money up. Growth, meaning where you're going to scale and grow to. Entrepreneurship or ownership. Your exit strategy, not popularity. Many people say exit strategy, or I'm not building a business to leave it. Yeah, that's what you should be doing. Should be building a business to leave it, to pass it on to someone that actually wants to do it, or to sell it to a larger conglomerate business, make your money, get your bag, and go and start something else. Because one thing that I've realized with working with entrepreneurs over the last 2 decades is that even if they sell or they exit, I do work with people that have exited for large amounts of money. They go and they start something else, and maybe not always similar to what they were doing before. They may go into a totally different business and a totally different idea, but they always start something else. The only reason they wouldn't is if they were going into retirement. But one of my good friends is about, he's in his 50s, and he sold his business, made money hand over fist, right? And he got out of that business and went into something totally unrelated. And he's happier than he's ever been, but he still has that bug to start something else. So he's been calling me lately, talking about, what he and I need to start or get done. And he's just somebody that is interesting, but is a very smart businessman and can accomplish great things. So let's talk about the 5 most common structures. And we're just gonna have a conversation tonight. I'm gonna go through this with you guys. And if you want in-depth answers, then you're gonna find a link in the bio or in the comments in the content of these posts, and you'll be able to reach out to me and we can talk more in detail. So the 5 most common is sole proprietor, and most people shun the fact that somebody is a sole proprietor. Oh, why are you doing that? Well, the reality is that everybody starts as a sole proprietor. I'll teach you something really quickly. When you're born in the United States and they assign a social security number to you, you became a sole proprietor. You became basically a business owner. And that number gives you the right to have a hobby and sell your product. Excuse me, guys, I'm battling sinus. But having your social security number means that, hey, you make cookies, you bake cakes, you do phone covers, whatever it is. You could have a hobby and sell your product, and you still get to take advantage of certain tax deductions that you wouldn't have if you didn't actually make money from something that you enjoy doing. I call the sole proprietor the bicycle. It's simple, it's cheap, it's easy, but if you crash, you're the bumper. Right. So if you run into a legal issue or you make a mistake, you are the person, and everything that you have becomes responsible for the crash. And that is why you want to make sure that you have some type of structure. If you are the sole proprietor, you have no separation. Um, you have you have no protection, essentially saying that this business is not separate from me, is what you're saying as a sole proprietor. And listen, if you're just getting started, it's cool. There's a way to do business, and there's still a way to ensure and to protect yourself by following the rules, right? So there's no wrong or right answer. Each one of you, when you take these 5 structures, you need to do what is best for you and where you're going. That's why having a plan in mind, having clarity, helps you to understand what you should do. Nobody knows the right answer. There is no right answer. It's based on what your vision is for your business and what you're going to do with it in the future. Now, as a sole proprietor, you got easy taxes, but you have the highest personal risk. Let's say you're baking cookies and you forget to put an allergy label on something that was exposed to an allergen like nuts, right? And I can tell you guys this because I bake cookies. If my cookies go to the farmer's market, there has to be an allergen label on them. Whether I put nuts in them or not, I have to disclose that there's milk and eggs in this product. That is simple, but it still presents the highest personal risk. Although I have followed the rules, if someone didn't read the label or they opened the package and threw it and took it off and just devoured the cookie, they could literally say, oh, this, sent me into anaphylactic shock, right? And so that's what I mean by you have the highest personal risk. Now, being a sole proprietor is the best place to be for testing an idea. If you want to find out if something is going to work, you don't have to go and spend the money to get someone to build your structure and do all of these things. You can do all of that while you're testing. Meaning, I bake dozens and dozens and dozens of cookies. And yes, my business has a my business is all of my businesses are established at this point because I've had them for multiple years, but I didn't start out that way. I bake my cookies and I sold them privately, and my cakes, pound cakes, and all the things I do, I sold them privately to friends and family. I discovered that shipping was not my strong suit. And so I stopped shipping cookies around, across the country until I learned how to do it. And with that, when I go places, sometimes I just go and I make them while I'm there, right? So that I don't have to worry, my friends get the freshest product. But that's what I mean by making sure that you've taken the time to test your idea to find out if it is viable. If it's viable, will it work? Do people like it? Is it solving a problem? Is it answering a need? Best for testing ideas. Then let's talk about the famous LLC. The LLC is like putting a fence around your house. Why do you put a fence around your house? Let's answer. Why do people put fences around their house? Doesn't make the house any bigger, right? It simply provides protection or keeps things out of your house or out of your yard. Limited liability company. Oftentimes, I have to sit people down and explain to them that LLC stands for limited liability company because they just went and got an LLC because somebody told them they should do it without any full understanding. There is a legal reason to choose an LLC, but there is also a process that must be followed step by step for your LLC to have the protection, right? For your fence to stand up, for your fence to not cave in, for your fence to have the right entry and exit way into your yard. There are some things that you must do to establish it properly. Now, let's talk about the other things. Limited liability. That does not excuse you from all liability. It excuses you as an individual from certain liabilities. Limited means there are parameters, right? It means that there are rules or there are other fences inside of the LLC. We can teach it, we can discuss it. As a matter of fact, I break it down to the core when someone has decided that that's the entity for them. Now, with an LLC, you have flexible taxation. It's flexible because there are so many, because I also own a tax business, guys. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but there are so many portals that you can enter into and go through when you have an LLC that are necessarily available to you only because you've created that type of system for your business or you decided on that structure. I don't want to get into it because I love taxes, guys, and I will literally go down a rabbit hole. So just understand that your LLC has flexible taxation. The percentages are not solid because your LLC, you could be a minister. You could be a scientist. You could be in Scientology. All of these parameters are some of the portals that happen when you are talking about owning an LLC. Or you could be not for profit. I didn't say non-profit. I said not for profit. There's so many things that come into play. Now, an LLC can be excellent for many business types, for many businesses. You want to think about limitations when you think about an LLC. You want to know where it is you're going to scale and you're going to grow to. But this is where strategy comes in. It's not magic, guys. Not at all. It's not magic and it's not tax-free. Can you eliminate taxes bring them down to zero? You can, but not without the right strategy and without utilizing and operating the right type of things inside of your business throughout the entire year. Again, That's another topic for another time. So let's talk about an LLC that grows into becoming an S corp. And the reason I say it that way is because people come to me and they're like, "Oh, I have an S corp," and I'm like, "Okay, well, that's an LLC that has an S corp designation, meaning that you have decided to be taxed as an S corp." Still an LLC. So what I want all of you that may have an LLC in your mind to understand is that you can take elections along the way that change your business structure. We're building the house. We're talking about how you can scale and grow without even explaining that that's what we're doing. So think about where we started: sole proprietor, LLC, S corp, and then even C corp, which I'll explain next. The S corp is where strategy begins, simply because your LLC can be in a viable place where you're making lots of money and there's lots of money left over, and now you've decided that you want to hire employees. You can have employees in a regular LLC, but you don't have the same tax benefit. Now, in an S corp, this is where tax strategy comes into play. You want to have money though, guys, because now we're splitting up the way the structure goes through its processes for taxes and all kinds of things. But you want to hire employees. So now you are going to take advantage of being an employer. So you now have other deductions and things that are open up to you, and flexibility, things that you can now do as an employer, as a business owner. But you must understand that an S corp, an LLC, and a sole proprietor are all what the IRS calls disregarded entities or pass-through entities. So still what happens in that business comes over to your personal tax structure. Let's put it like that. So now, as an S corp owner, you as an owner or a founder can take salary. But not only can you take a salary, you can take a salary and distributions from your company. One of the main rules that happens in having an S corp that most people don't follow and don't know that this is rule number one is that you need to have a payroll and you need to run a payroll. You need to pay payroll tax. Tax is going to happen, y'all. It's going to happen. It just happens at different percentages, and it happens with different advantages. And an S corp provides a self-employment tax savings where you will pay payroll tax. It really is offset by the fact that you're an employer. So don't worry about that. And then self-employment tax is cut by 50%. When your business begins producing consistent profit, then you consider switching your or adding the S corp taxation. The conversation changes. The seat at the table changes. The way that you conduct business and the way that you apply certain things to your business, it changes. Guys, it's not rocket science, but it is strategy. And you've got to be able to sit down and talk to someone that can help you to choose the proper structure so that you go in the right direction. You want to make the money, but you also want to learn how to keep it and how to report it without injuring yourself. Let's say it like that. So with the next one that we're going to look at is the C corp designation. Now you can go in and you can get a C corp off the rip, as they say, right? Or you can make your LLC a C corp. Stages of growth, right? Where we're growing to. All of this can be done with documentation. All of these changes can be made with the IRS through documentation. And that's how you get it done. So let's talk about C Corp. C Corp is not designed for your local bakery. If you open in a bakery, there is absolutely no reason for you to be a corporation. It is designed for companies that have plans to grow much larger than our what we call our small businesses or our micro businesses. It is used to attract investors and eventually go public. Inside of a C corp is the structure that allows you to sell shares of your business. So you want to talk about attracting investors that will bring money to your company by purchasing stock in your company. And by putting, then you want to show up on the New York Stock Exchange and all these places. And you want to go into preparing for IPO. So let's talk about SpaceX, right? SpaceX just went public. So that means that this is a C corporation. This is the simplest way that I can put it without getting into the details. There are other reasons that you would start a C corp, but it's not for service-based businesses or businesses that are not going to scale and grow to a point that you need to sell stocks in your business. One of the negative things about C corporations is that they're subject to double taxation. And I can get into that deeper. You guys can come to my webinar. I can tell you all about it, right? It's subject to double taxation. But the other thing that it provides for you is exponential growth once you have put yourself in a position where you can sell the stock and where you need investors to create the next product or to build the next model or to, get into the next joint venture. So that's the way that you should think about it. The last one that I'm going to go over is nonprofit. People think that nonprofit means no money or that it shouldn't make money. That is so far from the truth. Some of the largest salaries that are paid to nonprofit CEOs. Look it up. Look it up. You can look up the Red Cross. You can look up the Susan Komen Foundation. You can look up Make-A-Wish Foundation. See how much their CEOs get paid. It does not mean no money. It just doesn't. It means that we put our purpose first. We put the mission first. We are going to distribute the funds to assist in this mission or in this way. Like Susan Komen is about breast cancer research, supporting survivors or supporting those that are going through treatment. The mission. But the nonprofit has a board that makes decisions. So the founder, the owner, or the creator does not have sole decision-making responsibilities. They have a board that they trust that will keep the purpose and the mission first. But it does not mean that it does not make money and that people don't get paid. People think that nonprofit means that everybody that comes in has a volunteer, and that is so far from the truth. Your nonprofit can have employees, and I'm going to leave that there. But what you have to remember with nonprofit is there is stricter compliance that has to be followed, and a 501c3 is not the only nonprofit that exists. You can look that up too. You have other ones that have different missions, but there are other categories that they go in. So let's be knowledgeable about what it is that we're building, where it's going to go, and what structure is needed to ensure that we follow the compliance and the restrictions that come along with having a nonprofit business or organization, because it is not set there just to get grants, just to accept donations, or to have just volunteers. It is literally a business structure. So what I want to say to you guys is get the information. There's going to be some links that you can catch up with me, follow me, join me, DM me. I am not a gatekeeper. I don't charge people to talk to me. I just want y'all to stop copying your friends. I don't care what your cousin did, the cousin them did. I don't care what your barber did. I don't care what the influencer did. That's their business. It's not your business. You need to do what's best for your business. One of the things that I've realized over this course of time, over the decades that I've been in business at a corporate level, at an executive corporate level, and that I've been in as an entrepreneur, is that we're forever going to learn. We're going to forever learn something from somebody, but we need to have the facts. Anything that someone shares with you, you should be able to verify it through an entity that is solidified, like the IRS. If you really want to know something, Google it, but make sure you go to the irs.gov website, and all your business structures are explained in detail. And then you want to check it out at the state level. There's so much to know and so much to learn. But guys, take your time. Don't just go and establish something and you don't have the money, the backing, the funding. You don't have the support to get it done. Business is just, your business should be just like a child. It should grow and it should evolve. It should stretch out into something that you can sit back and look at and say that you're proud of. The business structure you start with, it may not be the one that you finish with. It's just your starting point. You want to always be in a position to grow. You want to be in a position to extend your hand to others through hiring, through employment. You want to obtain funding. You want to have investors. You want to be able to expand. You may have to change entities along the way. Doesn't matter. You can keep the same name, the same mission, but grow the mission. Be able to sit back and look at the growth and be proud of it. Questions you should ask yourself before you choose your entity. And these are questions that I ask every one of my clients. How much money do you expect to make? Will you hire employees? Will you seek funding? Because then we need to get you fundable. Will you have partners? Will you own real estate? Will you buy assets, capital assets? Will you build multiple businesses at once? Do you want to leave a legacy? I never ask anyone, do you want an LLC? I teach and I give you the options and the business structures, and I let you decide. Now, I can consult and advise and tell you what I think you should do, but the ultimate decision should be up to you. If we look at Luke chapter 14, verse 28 through 30, for which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count up the cost? You will see that even God himself says in his word and in his scripture to us to make sure that whatever we're building, we know what it's going to cost. Not what we're going to make, not how much profit it's going to produce, but what it's going to cost. And right there, Jesus was teaching us the strategy of building a business. Planning, preparation, count the cost before building. That's real entrepreneurship. And your Bible, people say it's basic instructions before leaving earth. It is a financial blueprint. It's a kingdom strategy to live a kingdom life. Biggest mistakes that many of my entrepreneurs make, and they come to me with them already decided, is choosing the wrong structure. And I see other things all the time, every day. Operating business out of their personal bank account, commingling funds, not having bookkeeping, having the wrong entity, no operating agreements, no annual reports, choosing entities because somebody said they should have one, and then waiting until tax season to make a decision about what their business, or trying to remember what their business did all year. This week, I want to challenge you. I don't want you to file anything because we're not ready. We're not there yet. I want you to begin asking yourself and the professionals that you work with better questions, because good questions will build a good business. And when you have the opportunity, and I'm so thankful to God for the opportunity to be in the room with people that have been or gone where I would love and aspire to go, ask them questions as well. Remember this, your business structure won't make you successful, but the wrong structure can make your success far more expensive than it needs to be. I want you to build wisely, build intentionally, and build for where you're going, not where you're at today. If you haven't already, make sure that you check out the links in this that are in the content of this podcast. Make sure that you check out how to build a business that works. We want you to get the workbook. We want you to write down your business goals. We want you to get in the 10-week cohort. And I'm only taking a limited number of people. So make sure that you check it out. Next week, we'll be moving into step 3, where you're going to build your legal and your financial foundation. where I'll show you how to establish your business the right way. From your EIN and bank account to bookkeeping and funding readiness. What are the things? I'm going to give you the overview, the tools, the steps, and then we're going to get in the cohort and we're going to make it happen. Remember this, you are more than a side hustle. Don't just build a business that works. This has been the Prosperity Blueprint, and part of this blueprint is ensuring that you have the right foundation. You were never meant to work for anybody if you cannot work for yourself. You should always have a job, maybe, right? Because somebody's got to work. But you should also have a vision that makes money and builds wealth for your future and your families. Think about who you know in the Bible that actually worked. You're going to find that it was soldiers that were in the military and people that were enslaved that had to pay back a debt. Other than that, the disciples were all entrepreneurs. You don't think Jesus gave them the strategy? Check out Luke chapter 14. Let me know what you think. You got to have a strategy. You're more than a side hustle. Build this thing with the right foundation. My grandma used to say, your foundation's got to be sure. You got to know that you know. God bless you. See you guys on next week. If you would like to be a guest on the Prosperity Blueprint or Dating While Anointed, click the link. You will go to the link and make an appointment. That is your pre-screening for the podcast. Set an appointment time with me. Come and talk to me behind the scenes so that you can have the interview that is going to speak to who you are as an individual. Join me on the Prosperity Blueprint or Dating While Anointed. We'll see you around on the James H. Glover Studios. Hey, everybody, here's your chance to participate in something very important to the James H. Glover Network. The James H. Glover Network, James H. Glover, and the James H. Glover Studios have been nominated in 4 categories for Podcast, Blog, Podcaster of the Year for the Spin Awards. We are asking you to click the link in the content or below to vote now. Wherever you see James H. Glover Studios or the name James H. Glover, make sure that you vote right now. The Spin Awards is a big deal, and you can help us cross the finish line and bring home the victory.
Hello. Thank you for watching another episode on James H. Glover Network. We appreciate you for all of your love, all of your support, and all of your just comments. Now what I need y'all to do is, like it says right here, like and subscribe. Also, I need y'all to share, and I need y'all to tag, and I need y'all to turn on that notification bell over here on YouTube. That lets YouTube know that you like content like this. On behalf of everyone here at the network, we appreciate you because we couldn't release content the way that we do without your support. So as I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we look at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And I'll see y'all on the next episode.